Top 5 scary videos of ghosts and creepy mysteries. You decide. YouTube user Graham Evans frequently seeks out and films historic locations in his hometown of Denbigh, North Wales. The town dates all the way back to the 13th century, with one of its oldest buildings being the North Wales Hospital, which served as a mental asylum for almost 150 years. Graham visits the abandoned hospital to capture some footage of the decaying interior. However, that's not all he captures. It looks like someone is simply standing in a small open room nearby. But when Graham pans back, there's no one there. Some YouTube viewers think it's a bizarre apparition facing away from Graham. Some think it's a man just standing and watching. And others think it's simply an optical illusion caused by the dark square on the wall. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, this next video comes from a very odd source. It was originally part of a commercial ad campaign for the travel website Expedia, but a very observant Reddit user named INOLOL immediately spotted something very disturbing in the video. Take a look. Now, you probably didn't notice anything, and neither did I at first glance. But watch again, keeping a close eye on the lady in black. Did you see it? Well, take one last look with a close-up on the lady in black, and her reflection on the wall. In the reflection, she seems to take a look toward the man in the video, but her actual body seems to remain completely still. Now, this could be an optical illusion or possibly an editing mistake, but the fact that everything else around her seems to move normally makes it especially creepy. Reddit user Baked Potato posted a bizarre video to the r/Ghost subreddit. He says that years ago, his friend Kim toured the haunted Limp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri. Kim recorded a video on her phone that caught something chilling. Now, here I'll quote someone quoting me from this very video's Reddit comments. Did you see it? A shadow figure in a hat seems to appear right in front of a brightly lit window. But when she pans back, nothing there. What makes this video even more compelling is that it was filmed on a very old phone, and Reddit user Baked Potato says that the video can't even be removed from the original cell phone. So it would be very hard to fake. But is it a ghost caught on camera or an optical illusion? Or, to quote another Reddit poster on this thread, is this real? Or is it all just an elaborate hoax? You decide. Separation anxiety. Paranormal explorer and YouTuber Ricky Velasquez and fellow ghost hunter Nighty travel to a remote location to do a live ghost hunt on YouTube. The building they investigate appears to be a long abandoned log cabin with missing floors and crumbling ceilings. About 18 minutes into their live exploration, they begin to hear something.
Ricky.
Ricky and Nighty can hear a low humming sound that almost sounds like the voice of a woman. But it's not over yet.
Pensé que había sido tú, que estabas murmurando o algo.
Ay, Ricky, no.
Seriously creeped out, but positive that they are not alone, Ricky sets up his Kinect camera. He asks the ghostly presence to show itself.
Toma mi energía para que te puedas acercar. Manifiéstate.
Ricky. Ay, Ricky. Ricky, no, Ricky. Ricky.
Madre, eso es eso, güey. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué putas madres es esas madres?
They watch as what appear to be the terrifying figures of a woman and child holding hands emerge from the pitch black to stare at them. The figures simply stand in the doorway and watch, before silently disappearing back into the darkness. When Ricky and fellow ghost hunter Nighty reach the area and look around with their flashlights, they don't find anything that could explain what they and their live audience just witnessed. Determined to find an explanation, Ricky continues using the Kinect camera.
Yo te ofrendo de mi energía. Manifiéstate, por favor.
Ricky, no, Ricky.
Now, if you're wondering in this clip why Ricky runs to the opposite side of where the figures seem to disappear, that's because Ricky's Kinect camera is mirrored from what you see in real life. So on the Kinect, when it looks like the figures are moving towards the right side of the screen, they are actually moving to the left.
Oh, Ricky, no, Ricky.
So, what do you think? Real or fake? You decide. You can watch more of this creepy investigation over on Ricky Velasquez's YouTube channel. Caught on camera. Talented photographer Martin Navejas is not a ghost hunter or urban explorer. He sometimes takes artistic photos of models in abandoned locations and records the photo shoots for his YouTube channel. Martin decides to film a tour of one of his favorite photo shoot locations to show his friends and followers. But the location is an old, abandoned, decaying church. It didn't go well.
Part 3 of my favorite place to shoot. It's a little dark outside. It's pretty cloudy. It's rained all day today. I'm going to show you guys my favorite place to go. Downstairs in what I call the Red Room. The Red Room is a place I go once I'm done shooting for the day, just to kind of look at pictures, see if I need to retake anything, re-edit anything. I'll show you why it's called the Red Room. It's pretty cool. When you turn the light off during the day, it's got a nice tint of red. I'll show you. It's a little dark now, but can't see. Come down here, it's peaceful, it's quiet. Shit. Oh my god.
The shadowy shape of what looks like a man is sitting slumped down in a chair, all alone in the dark. Startled, Martin turns off his flashlight. But then he turns it back on again just to make sure. The man is now sitting straight upright. He jumps out of his chair and begins to chase Martin.
Oh my god.
Luckily, Martin escapes unharmed. So, do you think this is a paranormal entity lurking in the abandoned church? Or just a creepy homeless man? Let me know what you think. Ghosts of all sizes. Popular Chinese live streamer Zhao Long, who I've featured in previous top 5s, is back in another creepy exploration with one of his friends, Zhao Jin. After a long 4-hour drive to what looks like the middle of nowhere, the live stream starts with the two friends lightheartedly joking around.
哎呦我去啊，这什么花啊？别摸，这玩意儿有剧毒，你不知道啊？戴手套了。五颜六色的东西你不能碰，老师他妈没教你啊！别他妈整这他妈的二逼呀、这是绝情草，你傻逼似的。绝情草，绝情草，绝情草没事，我就怕绝经。绝，操你妈，个傻屌！
However, the fun doesn't last long. As they begin to explore the empty building, things quickly take a turn for the worse.
咱俩他妈开车最少得开他妈的4个小时，最少得开4个小时，走。我操你妈的！哎呦我操！ 我操你妈的！哎呦我操！我操！咋整你们？哎呦我操！我操了！咋整你们？没咋着，我他妈吓死了！我操！操，这鞋咋的？这逼玩意儿咋能掉呢？操了！
After almost getting hit by falling glass, Xiaolong and his friend Zhao Jin still dismiss it as a simple, odd coincidence. They continue their exploration through the dark hallways, but soon get another unexpected interruption. They run outside to safety and Zhao Jin has had enough. After a short break, Zhao Long presses that they should continue their live investigation. When they re-enter the building, their live stream viewers spot something truly terrifying.
哎呦我操你妈呀！这他妈能踩下去不？操你妈！我都不敢踩，有点儿。这底下是空的。
Did you see it? The two scared explorers didn't, but after reading some disturbing comments on their live chat, they make a frightening discovery.
然后是一张曝光的图。哎呦，我操你妈的！哎呦我操你妈呀！
on a screenshot sent in by one of Xiaolong's fans, a tall, pale figure can be seen staring at them from one of the top windows. What makes this even more bizarre is that when they investigate the area where the creepy apparition was spotted, they realize how freakishly tall it must have been.
我合着你怕啥？我操你妈！走走走！
But then things get truly bizarre.
我操你！我操！我操你妈！我操你妈！我操！我啊！ 小叶， 小叶。
Some small dark thing seems to appear out of thin air right before their eyes. And then, just as quickly, it's gone. Terrified, they run out of the building and head home. You can watch Xiaolong's full live stream ghost hunts on his channel on a Chinese live streaming site. The link is in the video description. Room for one more. Now in this next video, there's just a lot going on. Facebook user Rick Wade posted a video on his Facebook page with the description, "Do you see something strange in this video?" He claims that while there was a wedding party going on downstairs, he could hear a female voice coming from an upstairs bedroom. Strangely enough, the voice seemed to be humming. Intrigued, Rick goes upstairs and takes out his phone and starts recording. When Rick reviews his footage later, he spots two chilling occurrences that he didn't notice at the time. First, what looks to be a small child can be seen in the corner of the closet, standing there motionless. Then, as he pans to the right, we see a quick glimpse of what looks to be the edge of a green dress passing by Rick as he films the bedroom. Rick says that he was alone upstairs and that the closet was empty. The mysterious footage remains unexplained. Thanks for watching. You can submit or suggest videos at nukestop5@gmail.com. Follow me on the Twitters at nukestop5.